Hello and welcome to The Stack. For this week's show, we head to Greece to speak with the team behind hellofrom. Plus, Dogue. Yes, think Vogue for dogs. And we pay tribute to iconic Italian photographer Oliviero Toscani. Enjoy the show. From Midori House in London, this is The Stack, 30 minutes of print industry analysis, and I am Fernando Augusto Pacheco. And now we head to Greece to talk about hellofrom, formed in 2016 by Konstantinos Drakotis and Dr. Roxani Fauci. Among the many things they do is city guides, and the latest, of course, is all about Athens, a beautiful portrait of Greece's capital, revealing a unique insight into the places that exemplify the spirit, heritage, and vibrancy of the city. They also have a store in Thessaloniki and a news agent, a beautiful kiosk in Athens, of course, and plenty of new projects in 2025. Let's hear it from Konstantinos and Dr. Roxani.
hellofrom is a travel-minded brand. It's a boutique studio that creates and inspires sustainable projects that offer unique and memorable experiences that celebrate Greek creativity. It was founded back in 2017, and it's important to say that at that period there was Greece was going through a kind of difficult period, and we wanted to change all these somehow negative attitudes about the country that was going through the recession and everything, and also make the most of all these incredibly talented and creative human resources, all these creative minds from various disciplines all over Greece, and create a project that would unite them and would make Greece be great again. Hence our tagline, making great things since 3200 before Christ.
The best tagline, I have to say.
It's incredible, isn't it? It obviously refers to the Greeks, but nowadays, I must say that I view it somehow different, not in the restrictive, let's say, centralist way of viewing a culture, but in a more broader, not confined sense. It's mostly about this Greek spiritual flame, all these universal values that transcend borders and boundaries. It's about minimalism, it's about creativity, it's about striving for excellence, it's about simplicity, all these Hellenistic, let's say, values that can be found anywhere in the world. So it started with Greeks mainly, but now it's more open to everyone who can identify with these values and share these values from any place in the world.
And I think there are many people like this. I think Greece is a country, just look at the numbers of tourism, right? I think there's a lot of interest towards the country. And I think we must talk as well about your city guides. I have the latest one in front of me, which is the Athens City Guide, a city that I still didn't have the pleasure to visit.
Oh, you have to.
I have to. And
it's an amazing
I need all the
city.
tips.
Of course.
But tell us a bit more about the city guides, because there's been one already, and it's in Edinburgh. And I want to ask the connection. Why the first one was in Edinburgh?
Well, Edinburgh is the Athens of the North, they call it. So.
Very good.
Edinburgh was our first one. It was more like a case study. Athens was published this July, so it's really, really fresh, our latest baby. It's a highly curated travel book, city guide for Athens, that celebrates Greek creativity. It offers experiences that, let's say, stop people in their tracks, push purpose, and wow the world. It's a 208-page city guide that has original photography and copy. And we've used paper that comes from disposable paper coffee cups.
And it's incredible elegant. I want to talk about the cover, about the logo. You know, it's very kind of, it's pared down. There's something quite chic about it as well.
Yes. Well, hellofrom is, and our logo, as you just said, is, it's a very welcoming brand. It welcomes people to a city. So we say hello from Athens, hello from Edinburgh. And the owl that you can see here is our hero character for Athens. Because, you know, Athens was named after its patron deity, goddess Athena, and the owl always accompanied Athena. It's the symbol of wisdom and erudition in the Western world, so that's the reason why we chose this hero character for Athens.
Athens is going through a moment, right? Because I did mention tourism, but I think the type of tourism that is going to Greece is not necessarily just to go to the beach and enjoy the sun. That's great as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think in Athens, you have cool wine bars, you have so many cool new shops, new designers, and I think that's what the guide is also trying to portray in a way, right?
Well, yes, but what we mostly wanted to do with this city guide is showcase the very best this city has to offer. And, you know, Athens is not just about the Acropolis or the ancient ruins, which are incredible, but it's more than that. And we wanted to show how amazing this city is, not just for a short trip, but also to live in, how incredible and inspiring projects, because that's what we kind of showcase with this guide, the incredible projects, the inspiring projects that you can find nowadays, and try to celebrate it not just for its glorious past, but for its bright present and its even brighter future. So that is mainly what we wanted to do with the city guide. And with all these places that we recommend, all these experiences that it offers, we have created an ecosystem of beautiful and inspiring projects.
And the guide came in a very nice paper bag as well. I like those little details as well. Tell us a bit more about this special paper bag.
Well, that's our signature packaging for everything that we create.
This is the noise of the paper bag.
Yes.
I like it. And you are actually from Thessaloniki, right?
That's right, yes.
I wonder, I'm not sure about what are your plans for 2025. Do you want to do more city guides? Is that the plan as well for the brand?
Well, right now, the Hell from Athens City Guide is part of an entire project that we have created for Athens, the Hell from Athens project. And this project is designed to share what's new in Athens and offer unique and memorable experiences that celebrate Greek creativity. Part of this is also the kiosks, the news kiosk, the Hello From news kiosks. We aim at reviving and restoring a series of 7 plant kiosks in the city center of Athens. The first one opened on October the 1st, and it's in the city center of Athens. It's in the heart of the most luxury fashion district on Kourestio Street. It's a beautiful pedestrian road where you can find all the flagship stores of the big luxury brands of Chanel, Louis Vuitton, and Prada, and so on. The kiosk is aimed to, it's more like a concierge-style space that aims to share what's new and offer memorable experiences to both locals and visitors. News kiosks in Greece are an integral part of our culture. They used to spread news. Actually, they used to be reference points for the city centers where people would read the news on the newspapers, start discussions about them while reading the headlines, gather together, connect with the community. But nowadays they're closed. The traditional newsstands are closed, and we wanted to revive them and bring them back to their former glory, meaning to keep spreading the news and keep being local points of reference for the people.
So will you be able in those kiosks to buy, for example, the latest city guide, but will they have newspapers and other things as well?
Well, right now people can find the Hello From City Guides, but we're working on a curation of other print media, magazines, and other books that are mostly travel-minded. We're actually aiming to make an open call to like-minded brands that wish to say hello from Athens and be part of what we do in Athens.
I can see, with this amazing project that you have a passion not just for print, but also for the physical space where people can connect, right? And
absolutely. And the kiosk adds to this physicality that people are looking for. But the print has a very significant value for us because, can I hold a book?
Of course you can. Here you go.
You see, when you hold a book, you feel the texture, you listen to the sound of the pages, you smell it, you're fully immersed in this journey that it can offer. And to me, print can also engage you or enact a more mindful way of living.
Absolutely, especially on a travel guide as well, because I feel so lost if you only look online. Let's say if I'm going to Athens,
yes.
I generally feel lost.
And we're so much commoditized by screens nowadays. So I feel that print, with the kiosks, we also want to raise awareness about the importance of print in our lives and a completely different way of living and, adding this mindfulness and this meditative, let's say, way. So the book can travel you can time travel, you can be fully immersed. It's a multisensorial experience that it can offer. And speaking of that, I also wanted to say that print also has another significant value for us. It has an emotional value. We see it as an object. We see the guide, we see this book as an object with a high emotional value. Why? Because at hellofrom, we work a lot on memories and multisensorial experiences and how these can be encapsulated in an object and become more tangible. So let me give you an example. Monocle recently published the Monocle Handbook for Greece, which is, I so look forward to reading it, by the way. So imagine as if someone could buy it at the hellofrom Athens kiosk. So let's say that you are in Athens, you're in the city center, you had a wonderful breakfast, you had a wonderful time last night, and you're wandering around in the city. You see all these beautiful mid-war buildings, the architecture. You see the light blue sky, this bright Athenian light, which is nowhere else to be found in the world. You smell the bitter orange trees. That's characteristic of Athens. And you walk up Bucharestio Street, which is a beautiful pedestrian road, and you suddenly see the news kiosk. And you're hooked, and you want to go near it, and you find the Monocle Handbook for Greece, and you buy it. It's no longer a book. It's no longer just a book, and it's no longer just the Monocle Handbook for Greece. It's much more. It's all these experiences that you had. It's the sounds, it's the smells, it's the people you met, it's the tastes that you've had. It's everything. And when you go back home and you share that with your friends, with your beloved ones, it becomes eternal.
Wow. Very beautiful. By the way, you're very good for the radio because you describe sensations and feelings in a very beautiful way, I have to say.
Thank you so much.
And Roxani, tell us a bit more about your plans for 2025. What can we expect from hellofrom?
Well, our plans involve making an open call to like-minded brands and be part of the hellofrom Athens project, say hellofrom Athens. And they also involve creating a project for other cities, not just a city, but a whole project, because maybe London will be next. I would love that very much. Or other metropolises in the world, because this is the big dream, let's say, to create a hellofrom project in every big metropolis in the world. Say hellofrom London, hellofrom Paris, hellofrom New York, hellofrom anywhere, and celebrate creativity worldwide.
Thank you both. And for more information on hellofrom, go to hellofrom.gr. And now, a magazine that combines dogs and fashion like no other. It's Dogue. The dog fashion and lifestyle publication was founded in LA back in 2019. For its editor-in-chief, Ollie Port, the idea is to create a playful and creative dog magazine celebrating dog fashion and lifestyle. I had the pleasure to speak with her about the new issue featuring Bobby Costner on the cover. Yes, that's the trusty companion of Kevin Costner. Let's have a listen.
I started Cover Dogs for fun after I got my dog, who is a Pomeranian rescue by the name of Mimi. I started Cover Dogs just for fun to feature dogs on different covers of magazines. And Dogue was one of those magazines that we did. And we did Buzz Bark, which is a funny play on Bazaar, and all kinds of different other magazines like Sports Illustrated, Vanity Fair, but it was Vanity Fur. And then the Dogue became a movement of its own. It became really popular. 2 years later, we decided to actually launch Dogue as an actual 100-page magazine in style of Vogue, which is now available in digital and print.
I mean, that's fantastic. I mean, let's remember they're fabulous dogs, and I'm sure they want to be on the cover. And not only online, but in print. So that's fabulous. So the magazine, because many people perhaps, they might not have come across at the newsstand. It does exist. It is luxurious. It is beautiful. I've seen the covers. It's a proper work of love, right?
Yes, absolutely. It's a passion project. And yeah, it's sold at the newsstand in Beverly Hills here locally, but also people can order it online and they ship worldwide.
Let's talk about the content, because your upcoming issue will have, Bobby Costner. He's the pup of Kevin Costner, the iconic Hollywood actor. Do you need to be a starry dog to be on the cover?
No, actually, believe it or not, Bobby Costner is our first really, really big celebrity dog. Before that, we featured a lot of also celebrity dogs, but they were, different kind of celebrity dogs. They were like furfluencers, let's say. But Bobby will definitely be a different breed of a dog, let's put it this way. And that's why it's going to be a very fun and exciting issue, because I'm kind of going to reveal the secret life of celebrity pets.
I mean, we all want to know that. And how was, if I may ask, the behind the scenes of the photo shoot with Bobby? Was he too demanding, perhaps?
It was amazing. No, he did not act like a spoiled celebrity at all. He was a very nice, kind, down-to-earth puppy, because he's still a puppy, and very welcoming to his home. He was showing us around. We got a chance to see where he lives. We got a chance to see where he hangs out at his private beach. We also got a chance to meet his pack of 12 other dogs that he plays with, I think, like almost every day. So it was definitely a lot of fun to see a glimpse inside of his glamorous lifestyle.
And I think it's an interesting magazine as well, Oli, because even when you look at the fashion, I mean, the magazine's called Dogue magazine.
Yes.
When you look at the fashion industry, so many top brands are doing, clothing for pets. I mean, it is a big industry, right?
Absolutely. When I started, it was still kind of a niche market. This was 5 years ago. Today, it is absolutely no longer a niche. Dog fashion became very standard. And like you said, a lot of luxurious brands, high-end brands, are launching their own pet lines. We've got Versace, Fendi, Gucci. I mean, you name it. Like, they all have their own pet lines. Dogue became somehow the world's first dog fashion magazine.
You were there first. And talking about, of course, Dogue, the name is inspired by the iconic Vogue magazine. Yes. Have they ever been in touch with you, the team from Vogue? How does it work? I mean, do they see it as a tribute? Are they happy with it?
Not yet, but I do think that they're happy with it, because Vogue released their own first digital Dogue feature over the summer, actually, where they featured a bunch of celebrity dogs, and they called it Dogue Days of Summer. And they used the word Dogue on it.
I sense a collaboration coming out at some point.
Yeah, I do too, actually. I do too.
So tell me about your own dogs. I know that the whole idea you mentioned was inspired by the lovely Mimi Bear, right?
Yes, unfortunately, Mimi Bear is no longer with us.
I'm really
we lost
sorry
her.
to hear.
Thank you so much. It was really hard. We lost her in September of this year. But now we have Maui, which, came into my life to step in as the chief barking officer here at Dogue. She's going to continue Mimi's legacy.
Tell us about Cover Dogs. So is there an app as well that people could use? So, of course, you can buy a copy of Dogue magazine on your website, but you have other you have apps. So tell us a bit more in case we have listeners that are more interested to find out a bit more about you and the brand.
Yes. So Cover Dogs has its own mobile app, which allows people from all over the world to download it on either iOS or Android, create their own Dogue covers or other magazine covers that we've created. There's like Vanity Fair and Buzz Bark and Sports Illustrated. And then they can also share those covers on Cover Dogs, or if it's Dogue cover, they can share it on the Dogue magazine handle as well. And every once in a while, we will feature them even in print, in the actual print magazine.
That's fantastic. So in the new issue, Bobby Costner will be there, of course. We're all excited about it. What other features you have? Do you have like fashion shoots with dogs? And tell us a bit more about that.
Absolutely. Yes. So for every issue, I work with different people. We do have a team here. Shannon, she does styling. Michelle, she does custom design and tailoring. For example, they came with me actually to the Bobby Costner shoot. So for every issue, we all work together. We schedule different photo shoots for different dogs. We style them. And then we also have other photographers that we work with from all over the world, dog photographers that send us their content. And then we would review it and pick, the one that fits most for this issue. So other than fashion, it's a lifestyle magazine as well. We are also doing a feature on the actual breed. So every issue, it's like breed specific. So this issue is going to be about Labradors because Bobby is a lab. There's going to be Bobby's feature, of course, his favorite looks. And this was actually Bobby's first time to dress up. So this is going to be very interesting.
That was an exclusive. What is the most chic breed, do you think? What is the most kind of Dogue breed?
Honestly, that's the thing. I don't see it like that. I think that every dog can be chic. For example, like most of our models were small until Bobby. So Bobby is like our first large breed. And I think it just shows that any breed can do fashion from small to large.
Thank you, Oliviero. And to order yourself a copy, go to thedoguemagazine.com. And finally, we have a moving tribute to Italian photographer Oliviero Toscani. And our guest to talk about it is Monocle's editor-in-chief, Andrew Tuck.
This was the late 80s, beginning of the 90s. And the work was commissioned by Benetton, which at the time was most famous for kind of making nice pastel-coloured jumpers that were worn by the likes of Lady Di. She made the brand famous here in the UK. They were just a fashion brand. So the controversy was, is this company really interested in activism, in challenging people's perceptions and prejudices? Or is it just using these issues to sell jumpers? And that was always the bit that nobody could ever quite work out. And some people, both on the right, on the left, were enraged by what he did. But he also did provoke, I think, questions in our minds that it did attack your prejudices. So he had a famous example of a black mother breastfeeding a white baby. Now, it raised his questions for society. Are you uncomfortable with a black woman adopting a white baby? Do you know what happened in the past when black women were often used to be nursemaids to white babies? But somehow it became very uncomfortable for people. He had a picture of they were actors, but of a priest kissing a nun. The church was enraged. This was a time when unfolding already in the newspapers were stories of what priests were up to with young boys, with kids. It was a provocation to ask about sex in the church and to have a debate around those issues. But without doubt, the most controversial work was around AIDS and about what happened then. And I think there, again, people were unsure what was going on. In the early 90s, I was working at another media organisation then, and I went along to a demonstration organised by a thing called ACT UP and Outrage, and they were fearless campaigners for questioning what was happening around HIV and AIDS. And they went to the Benetton store on Oxford Street here in London, and I was there when they did a sit-in, and people were arrested, and they were just angered because these adverts had come out with HIV stamped on people's arms, almost like the Holocaust numbers. Toscani would say, look, I'm challenging you. What do you think about someone who's got HIV? Why is it such a label that upsets you? But these people were clear that this was not being used to aid, to support the cause of people who had contracted HIV, but to sell jumpers, and they hated it. So they were controversial.
Toscani also co-founded the art school Fabrica, which is funded by Benetton. What can you tell us about that institution?
It came up at an interesting time when he was working with Tibor Kalman, a man who I met several times and who I think he was only in his late 40s when he tragically died of cancer, or died of cancer rather. But here they tried to take some of the things that they'd learned from doing Colours magazine and from the work that he'd done in photography, and to using the Benetton wealth to create a school. And they were doing amazing things. They had great photographers go through there. They had this really creative space. And I must say that, Kalman plus Toscani, when you saw the work they did in Colours magazine as well, it was pretty interesting work. They took a single issue every time. They looked at everything from topical issues like HIV and race, but they looked at food, and they looked at why we got fat. They had a cover of a magazine with just someone holding up rolls of fat, or rolls of diminished fat because the person had been on some epic diet. Now, again, these are questions that are worrying us now about obesity, about Ozempic. They were there. They were questioning these big issues. So, it wasn't just a series of billboard campaigns. And, Georgina, that's the other funny thing when you think back, because in advertising then it wasn't all digital, kind of like popping up on your phone. These were epic pieces of outdoor advertising, and you saw them. You were confronted with these issues. So I think history will be kind to Toscani and generous. Indeed, today, the likes of Giorgio Armani have praised the work that he did in being such an extraordinary creative force, and an Italian one at that. But, we have to remember this was a very different media landscape. And actually, I think some of these things would provoke people now. People would feel challenged about it. But he wasn't scared to ask us questions about being black, being white, why we demonize some people, what society was willing to take on board.
That's it for this week's show. My thanks as ever to our editor, Jack Juras. Any comments or queries, feel free to write to me, Fernando, at fp@monocle.com. I'll be back next Saturday at 10 a.m. London time. Meanwhile, you can always listen again at monocle.com or subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. You've been listening to The Stack. I'm Fernando Augusto Pacheco. Until next time, it's goodbye from me.